Well, well, well. Welcome to another Monday night live stream. I just heard a weird sound. Sorry about that. Had to make sure everything was going all right. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you can hear me. I hope you're ready for a fun night because we're going to talk about myths, and there's so many of them. But first, don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the share button if you want to share it out. I would appreciate it. And we'll give it a few minutes here for people to get their notification and get past the commercial. I appreciate you watching the commercial. Audio, video is Gucci. I think that's a good thing. I don't know. I'm not hip, but I think that's a good thing. So good. Good. So get your myths ready once we get rolling here. Get a few more people, inch per gallon. Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly water changes. Water changes is a big one for me. Aqua Discovery was talking about it before we started the stream, and I can't believe how so many people just say weekly water changes or bi-weekly water changes are a must. You have to do them. I don't know. I'm not buying it. Dolbeck, hello. Michael Faulkner, hello. K-Stu, Boss Hog, AA, Aquatics, Crystal, Chevy Fish, Paul, McCarthy, and everyone else. Thank you for joining. Also, you're going to have to listen to my sales pitch. If you like what we do here, consider becoming a member. We do bi-weekly, soon-to-be weekly members-only live streams, and there's a lot of cool people to hang out with us, a lot of experts, so if you're having problems, that would be the place to go. Truck Tent Fund. Brian P. with the $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. We're getting real close to another milestone. So if you're Gucci, Gucci Ducci, there's the link from Zen Ginger. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie to you and say if you become a member, it helps us create awesome content. No, I just appreciate it. That's it. Ron Foss, hello. Curtis, hello. The old truck tent fund. So let's actually, you know what? Let's get right into it. If you haven't joined by now, that's your own fault, not mine. Cole with the $5 super chat says, Gold Wrestling half-beaks are ordered and on the way. I'm excited. Half-beaks are a fish that I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever kept. And I don't know why, because they're a really cool, really fun fish. Curtis with the $1 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. But let's just get into it. I want to talk about water changes and the myth of regular tank maintenance, bi-weekly, weekly. There's been a lot of talk about water changes, especially on YouTube. I'm seeing it all over the place. And I'm not saying anyone's wrong or that I agree or disagree or whatever. Case do. But there's so many factors when it comes into water changes that just doing, if there was a rule of thumb to like a beginner that didn't know any better, I would say do your bi-weekly water changes. Obviously get your test kit, and don't even get me started on test kits, and liquid test kits are better than the test strips. Yeah, I'm not buying that either. But there's so many factors, and a lot of people talk about nitrates. You do water changes to keep nitrates down. Well, look at this tank behind me. I bet this tank behind me never gets over 20 parts per million nitrates. Never in a million years. Why? Because they're nanofish. There's plants. They're going to eat up the nitrates, eat the ammonia. And the only thing you'd probably ever have to do is top this tank off that's right behind me. Now, that's just when it comes to nitrates. There's other things that are important in this tank behind me. So one thing to take into consideration is these plants are also going to consume mineral content in your water. So doing water changes would restore that and actually help your plants. This is why when you do a water change, a lot of people will start to see their plants pearling because they're happy. They just got this fresh batch of fresh water, but in that water contains all the nutrients and minerals for those plants. So I was actually I'm getting on this topic because I was talking to Danny, and she's telling me how her tank maintenance is becoming unbearable. And the weekly water changes that she's doing is just too much. And I was thinking, what in the world are you doing weekly water changes for? All your tanks are planted, like overly stock planted, some of them. And she says, well, that's just what everyone says online on YouTube. All these videos I watch say do weekly water changes. And I was just like, no. If you're doing weekly water changes, you're never going to get, seasoned tank. We've heard that in the last year starting to become a thing. You're just, you're not doing yourself any favors. The only time you would ever do weekly water changes, outside of like breeding, is like a high-tech tank. So you're doing dry ferts, which means you're basically like overdosing your tank. If you've never done dry ferts, is where you buy all the fertilizers separate in powder form. You mix it yourself, and you start on Monday, you do macros. Tuesdays, you do micros, and you alternate all the way to Saturday. And then Sunday, you do a massive like 50% water change. This is how like all the high-tech plant people do it. Is because you're putting so much mineral content in the water that you have to do a big water change. But that's why their plants look amazing all the time. I mean, I've done it. It was awesome. But it is a lot of work. That's the only time really, outside of breeding or, overly stocked tanks should be doing weekly water changes. But there's a lot more that goes into water changes than just keeping your nitrates low. So I think, it's one thing that I don't know. It's just been on my mind for a while now, because there's so much more to water changes than just keeping your nitrates low. Timothy Darling with the $10 super chat says, what's up, everyone? Hello, Timothy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Stephen P. 2013. Luckily, this is one we don't hear too often anymore. However, it can still be seen in some of the big chain stores. And he says 1 inch per gallon raw. The old 1 inch per gallon rule. About the most ridiculous. I don't even know where this came up from. Like, I'd be interested to know where this started from. There's not a lot of fish that this makes sense for. Was telling me that I can only have 10 fish that are 1 inch long in a 10-gallon aquarium is, we all know that's ridiculous and just not true. Or a 10-inch Oscar in a 10-gallon aquarium. So dumb. Fish Tank Barn, $5 super chat says dog cameo fund, and another $5 super chat that says myth busting fun. I actually have my next video coming out is a myth buster video. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I think it's going to be pretty cool and involves Corridoras, so it's going to be fun and awesome. And I think we're all caught up there. Thank you. I appreciate it. Fish Tank Barn says you can't put plants with African cichlids. Also, totally untrue. You can just take a look at some of my old videos from when I kept African cichlids, planted tanks. You have to do it right. Like, there's definitely some African cichlids, and nothing, I guess we should get that out of the way. Like, nothing about this hobby is like concrete. Like, anyone says, if anyone says you have to do it this way, it's the only way, stop taking advice from that person. Just don't listen to him anymore. There's so many ways to win in this hobby. That's what makes this hobby so awesome. Multi-Jacker with the $10 super chat said, I'd say the biggest lie in the fish tank hobby is bettas can't go in community tanks whatsoever. Yeah, Multi-Jacker, that's been going around ever since I've been in the hobby. And I think this is one of the benefits of the fish fam and fish tube in general, is this is definitely a myth that's getting debunked really, really fast. Especially if you watched my last video and you're paying attention to Danny's she shed. Almost every single tank of hers has a betta fish in it with something else, with other community fish. Now, obviously, you're going to get instances where betta fish are just angry. But that's not specific to betta fish. Other fish are like that as well. So yeah, betta fish definitely, for the most part, I would say, do well in community aquariums. Kevin says, or the fish only grow to the size of the tank. Also, terrible, terrible advice. Just terrible. It is kind of true in that you can stunt your fish Some fish will just keep growing though. Some fish will get stunted, but they don't. Hey, what are you chewing on? Get out of there. So yeah, so some fish will get stunted, but their organs keep growing, and then they die, obviously, right? You hear this from people that, I had a bottle shark in my 29 gallon tank, and it lived for 3 years just fine. And then you're like, well, that fish lives like 15 years in the wild, so it didn't live fine. It didn't. Better ratio is waste per plant. Waste per plant. Well, I think a lot of these myths are definitely started to help like newcomers in the hobby, but I think some of them, like the inch per gallon rule, definitely do more harm than good. Like that's one that's never made sense to me. Hopefully people can look at that and be like, what? I can have a 24-inch fish in a 20-gallon long? I know it's 30 inches long, but still. Stephen Fletcher, what's going on? Cut a live stream. All right. Myth that every tank needs a light. Boy, there's a lot that we can talk about with lighting. Not only does every tank not need a light, well, obviously, I mean, they need some form of light. Like, pitch black is just not going to be very fun for the fish. But I know what you mean. Other than remineralizing the water, what other reasons are there for water changes other than nitrogen reduction? Those are the two main big ones. I just want to make sure that people know that just reducing nitrates is not the only reason. It's not the only reason. Your fish are going to die instantly. Also, I mean, you do water changes to keep your water clear. So you could have just the murkiest water and still the water parameters are just fine. Your nitrates are low, you have no ammonia, you have no nitrate, but you can't see through the other side of your tank because the water is so murky. So obviously, you do it to keep the water clean too. That's a good one, Brian. Brian says, how about you, this one is still in fish stores a lot. I see this one in the chain stores a lot, I should say. Feed your fish as much as they can eat for 2 to 3 minutes. That's way too much food, and this is why people end up with hair algae, string algae. That's a good way to get like green spot algae, depending on what kind of food. If you're overdosing food that's high in like phosphate, you're gonna get green spot algae. So yeah, that's definitely a good one. That's that's the main cause of algae right there. Multi-Jacker says, also, small tanks are easier than larger tanks. This is a fairly common myth. Smaller water capacity means more waste buildup. I don't know. I've definitely heard people, I think people just assume that. This 5-gallon tank is going to be way easier to maintain than this 40-gallon tank. It's definitely not true. You have way less margin for error in a small tank. Sanjitter says, I think the 1 inch per gallon holds true for the older aquarium setup where Petco is pretty much all nanofish in smaller tanks. Only recently have more people started with monster fish. See, I feel like back in the day, like in the 90s when I was in a fish store, it was all monster fish. I mean, you definitely had your tetras. There definitely wasn't as many rasboras. No, go lay down. But I mean, I would see like sturgeon for sale, all these super monster fish that are now illegal in a lot of places, were for sale back in the 90s. Like I feel like monster fish have always been around, at least in my area. It could be different, on the East Coast where you are. Trish says, I have to change more often in my 10-gallon aquarium. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so many things to take into consideration that there's not just one rule. Like, you just can't follow one rule vehemently, It's some of these rules are just terrible, even for beginners. Kyle says, I like to think of water changes as like when it's nice out and you open the windows and you get some fresh air. Sure, you can live without the air from outside, but fresh air just feels nice. It certainly does. I was out mowing the lawn today. It was nice, low 60s, sunny out, and it was great getting that fresh air. Yep. A dog whines for a reason. Not because he has to poop. He's whining because I'm talking and not giving him attention. I always try to take my dogs out before the live stream and make sure they do their business. He's just very, very needy. I used to have it so they could come and like they used to like sit at my feet. But with this huge recliner, now they can't get under my desk because this recliner takes all the room. And that's what they're sad about. They can't lay at my feet right now. But it's only 2 hours. They'll get over it. Sometimes dogs whine for a stupid reason. Like, I have a bone and I don't know where to hide it. Mine are like, I have toys, but I don't remember where they are. I don't even know what they do with these toys. Attention needy. Begging for lovin's. Yep, basically all the above. I only ask for 2 hours a week. It's not that bad, buddy. You sleep all day and then decide to bug me when I live stream. He wants the recliner. Yeah, honestly, they do sit in the recliner when I'm not live streaming, so that could be it too. But whatever. What other myths do we have? Yeah, but the smaller the fish, it's like 1 minute tops to feed. If we're talking about feeding, yeah. Guppies in my 10-gallon needs a lot more water changes than, say, a Nano Rasbora's tank. Not even Rasboras in general, but I feel like there's definitely fish like guppies that are dirtier. Like a 1-inch guppy, I feel, in my opinion, creates more waste than a 1-inch Rasbora. Now, that's anecdotal. There's no, I have no scientific fact other than having kept both for very long amounts of time. Another myth, your new filter is rated for what it says on the box. That's an excellent one. Oh, man. Fish Tank Barn, you win, because I've actually never even thought about that one before. But every time I see these filters, whether they're hang-on back or canisters or even power heads, like, whoa, man, 3,000 gallons per hour. Like, not even. Not even. Even if that thing got struck by lightning, it's not doing that much. Yeah, that's a really good one. Really good one, Mike. And yeah, it's unfortunate how I've been involved with product testing, nothing aquarium related, but on the electronic side, like when they test speakers. And a lot of companies are like, this is a 2,000 watt speaker, because they just increased the wattage until it blew. And as soon as it blew, they're like, that's the cutoff, 2,000 watts. Even though realistically it's like a 200 watt speaker, you know, it took 2,000 to blow it up. So now it's a 2,000 watt speaker. This may be a myth. I hear, not sure. These or that fish needs to be kept in groups of 6. Then other people say it can be kept in 3s. That's more debatable than anything. Like for me, corridors in groups of 6 is like the absolute minimum for me. There are people that say you can do corridors in groups of 3, but it's such a huge difference. If you just take 2 40-gallon tanks, for instance, put them next to each other, exactly the same, put 3 corridors in one and 6 or more in the other, and you're going to see night and day difference as far as behavior out of those fish. It's really incredible. I mean, these are fish that school in the thousands in the wild. They are schooling fish. So only having 3, yeah, it's better than 1. And is it the bare minimum? Probably. But the bigger the schools, the way more natural behavior you get out of your fish. Yeah, 2,000 watt peak, 400 watt RMS. Yeah, baby. Got to get those high numbers. I don't know that it's a total myth, but is it bad for the hobby and inaccurate that snails, replecos, and other bottom feeder algae eaters don't need their own food because they eat the muck? Yep. That's a real bad one. That's how you get people that, you know, their fish keep dying every couple months and they can't figure out why. Especially when it comes to like plecos and catfish. Corridoras are that way. I hear that in Petco or PetSmart. It's really a shame, but it's I don't know. I don't know that it's a myth, but it's definitely not the right advice to give someone. You know, in every single one of my videos, I always say, make sure you're feeding your bottom dwellers. Anytime I talk about bottom dwellers, I say it over and over and over and over and over. Aqua Discovery says pea puffers, a single species tank only. Yeah, maybe a myth, but I still feel like I get lots of comments of people's pea puffers like ravaging their other tank mates. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on that one. I haven't kept them enough. I've done pea puffers twice and eventually sold them every time. And yeah, I'm still kind of on the fence on that one. Snail Team 6 says, total myth. You can't use a recliner in place of an office chair. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it with this one, but I am so over office chairs. They're terrible. They always break. They're trash. They're not comfortable. I don't care how much you spend on one. It is not comfortable to spend hours in an office chair. So my new recliner, when I get it, it's going to swivel and it's going to rock like this. And it's also going to be put on wheels like an office chair. So I got a furniture, like a small little square furniture dolly that I'm going to bolt up to the bottom of it. Swivel, rock, and wheels. It's going to be amazing. Trust me. I have a plan. I have a vision. And I'm not going to stop until I get that. K-Stu says, South American and African cichlids can't be together is a myth. Every fish has its own personality. It works fine if done right. So it definitely can be done. I think a lot of people get hung up on, you know, those are Rift Lake cichlids. They come from, you know, hard water, and those are, you know, South American cichlids. They come from soft water. You can't mix those. When in reality, both of those fish are farm bred in Florida in the same exact water. So I definitely get that. I just don't know why you would do it. I'm not a fan of it myself. I've personally never seen a tank that has African and South American cichlids in it that I liked, and maybe I'm just an elitist jerk. I don't know. But, you know, that's another great thing about this hobby. We all don't have to like the same stuff. Love the name Snail Team 6. Yeah, that's one of my favorite names I've seen so far on YouTube. It's pretty good. The only puffer I've kept successfully with other fish is Amazon puffers. I used to have 6 of them in a 55 with my rainbows before my heater malfunctioned. I cooked them all up. That is the worst. That is the worst. How about, I don't know that it's much of a myth. Now I'm kind of getting into like things that are a waste of money, which we talked about in our last members only live stream. Replacement cartridges for hang-on back filters. I feel like talk about a waste of money. That's not really a myth, but so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but definitely a complete waste of money. Like the $1 million idea of the recliner on wheels, but careful on the recline part. Raising the center of gravity on such a chair is worth keep. Yeah, so I don't care about reclining at all. I just want to rock. And I want to swivel, obviously, so I can just whoop and get on out. And wheels. I don't intend to sleep in this chair, so reclining back and kicking my feet up, no. That's what the couch is for. Some YouTubers say fish never need fed because they can live off the microorganisms, and others feed like crazy. Which is it? Well, put an Oscar in a tank and see if it feeds on microorganisms. I don't know what YouTubers saying that, so I don't want to, talk negative towards other YouTubers, but that seems like a pretty ridiculous statement to me. There's definitely, I think, especially the way we stock our tanks, you're definitely going to need them. I mean, let's be real. A lot of us overstock our tanks. I do. Everyone does. You definitely have to feed them. To just live on the microorganisms. I mean, maybe if you had a large tank and few nanofish, but I don't know. I'm not buying that. How about the myth that carbon is needed? It's definitely not needed. It definitely has, it's useful, I should say, in some scenarios, getting rid of meds, activated carbon, I should say. You know, if you're sticking to the rules of the medication on the box and you want to get that out of the water after 2 days. And also, activated carbon removes chlorine pretty much instantly. So there's definitely some good uses in it. But the fact that they put it in like every single replacement cartridge, and it's just not really needed, like all the time. Everyone's, oh, Candy is here. Hello, Candy. Candy overalls tell me to hit the like button, and I listen. Yep, don't forget to hit the like. Someone's been watching the Father Fish. Oh, it was a Father Fish that I don't know. I like to see some Rift Lake cichlids feeding off microorganisms. I mean, Tropheus will eat algae, but they're algae eaters. So I don't know. You can't use salt in freshwater tanks. I don't know who says that. Now, you can't use like salt for saltwater aquariums in saltwater tank. I mean, right? But you can definitely do salt. Salt has a lot of benefits for fish and plants. A lot of people get hung up on putting salt in their planet tanks. And I mean, as long as you're not putting the whole freaking 5-gallon tub of salt in there, if you're doing like a normal salt treatment for whatever's wrong with your fish, it's not going to harm your plants at all. When I put baby brine in my Mbuna tank, the yellow and blue zebras go after it, while the lab's Sokololfi, I always get that one wrong, and Kiwi's look around like, what are they eating? Now, if you want to say like shrimp, possibly shrimp, but eventually you're going to max out, right? Now, I've never started a shrimp colony where I was like, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want, and in a year I have 12 of them because that's all the aquarium will support naturally. Nah, I want hundreds of them in there. I was gonna say thousands, but maybe not thousands, but I definitely want hundreds, and that's gonna require me to feed them. Like I said, most of us overstock our tanks, and it's not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing, but we need to feed them. Barbara Jackson said the salted green beans are bad for fish. I think salted green beans are really good for fish, but I hear that a lot. More of as a question though than like a rule. Anytime I show like videos of me, or I don't do it anymore, but a couple years ago when I would dump like entire cans of salted green beans in my breeding fish for profit tank, people were like, oh my God, the salt. And I'm like, who cares? Like, it's such a minimum amount of salt. Jeez, it's beneficial. I promise. It's not going to hurt anything. Valsinaria doesn't like salt though. Yeah, like there's always exceptions to the rule. Always. Definitely Valsinaria doesn't like salt. It also doesn't like liquid carbon. You'll kill your jungle val off really fast by using liquid carbon. He's just against how much we overfeed our fish. Yeah, I mean, but it's not really a bad thing if you're doing your tank maintenance. I mean, there's definitely like power feeding your fish, like breeders who are just trying to power feed and grow them out super fast. I'm not much of a fan of that, but like as soon as you start getting snails and hair algae, then you know maybe it's time to pull back on the food a little bit, just a bit. Let's not misrepresent father fish. Yeah, like I said, I can only go by your comments. I've only seen a handful of videos. I don't get time to watch everyone on YouTube, so I can't really say. I'm just going off of what you guys are saying. So, you know, I'm not trying to speak bad or anything of Father Fish. Seems like a pretty cool dude to me. I get no salt added because I can, but I wouldn't worry if I couldn't. Another myth, I run the blue light most of the day and all night because it doesn't grow algae. I feel like people who say the blue light doesn't grow algae needs to maybe take a few lessons. The blue lighting, I never really understood it. Like even when I was younger, like I remember the first time I got the blue the night lighting, and I was just like, this doesn't look anything like night light. Like when I'm out in the wild, this is not how the moon looks. It's just bright blue. So I've never been a fan. It definitely will trigger photosynthesis, and algae will grow, your plants will grow in just blue light. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're struggling with algae and keeping your moon lighting on all night. Turn it off. It's not good for anything. Mark says, I overfeed all the time in a couple of tanks so that all levels get their food. Just need to up the water changes. Yeah, I mean, and that's it. If you're overfeeding, you just need to increase your tank maintenance. Make sure everything's clean. Can I use ick and salt to help treat ick at the same time? You could, but I wouldn't start with just that. I would do one or the other, and if you're still having problems, then maybe I would mix them. Fatherfish does thick substrate, and the aquarium plants ends up with all kinds of critters for the fish to eat. It's a system of fish keeping. I don't know that has anything to do with the depth. I know that he does deep, like sand beds and stuff. But if you're talking about, like the little seed shrimp, I get those in like bare bottom tanks. So there's lots of stuff going on. Now, you're gonna have a lot of like worms and things like that screwing around in the substrate. So yeah, you're gonna have more than if you don't, but definitely, it's just gonna depend on your stocking level. I only run blue lights for the aesthetics when I get off work at midnight, but it auto goes off at 3. Yeah, as long as you're not running it all night. Deborah says, yep, you overfeed, you have to do water changes. Plants use blue lighting super efficiently, so excess blue light beyond what food is available for the plants will gladly be taken advantage of by algae. Yep. And anytime I've gone to like a talk or a meeting on lighting, all the experts say the same thing. Do not keep the lights on at night. Wowzers. Someone has just subscribed. I cannot see the name though. Apparently I get that for subscribers too. We're getting all kinds of subscribers here. What's going on? Wow. Well, I won't complain. Aqua Discovery tannic acid is formed in decaying plants, wood, organic material, but the effects of it has on hard water is quite minimal. Just my experience. Plants lower pH naturally, much more so. Definitely decaying matter. Something to keep in mind. Paul says, what's up, fish nerds? KST with the $5 super chat says, not myth, but sad that the ick company would be narcissistic. It says on bottle not to turn temps past 82 so meds can work when 85 is the answer. The few times I have got ick, I've never raised the temperature. I've only had it a handful of times. Yeah, but a lot, I mean, so far, knock on wood, I've never had to raise the temperature, but that doesn't mean it's not the best way. I've just had better luck with medications. But other than salt and peas, fixed for swim bladder issues, my favorite fish isn't doing well. I'm worried. Well, salt and peas is probably the best. The other, swim bladder, usually that's what I do. Salt, peas, and extremely clean water. Water changes, water changes, water changes. Hey, Bob, hope you're having a great night. I am having a great night. Thank you. K-Stu says, I'm telling you, Bob, the 85-degree trick works. I'm not doubting you, buddy. If I get it again, knock on wood, hopefully I don't. I'll just crank it up to 85 and we'll test it out. Mike Lopez says, I'm new to the hobby and have a 95-gallon tank. I plan on making angelfish as my centerpiece and would love some tips for tank mates. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. So the thing with angelfish, really the only thing to take into consideration is you don't want fin nippers, and you don't want small enough fish that will fit in their mouth, because they will eat anything that fits in their mouth. And an adult angelfish can eat some pretty big size rasboras, some smaller tetras. So just keep that in mind. Danios, rainbow fish, corridoras, plecos, dwarf cichlids, all really good fish to put with angelfish. Brian says, thanks, Bob. You're the best. I think betta sorority tanks are what? I will say, I think betta sorority tanks are way harder to pull off than the average YouTuber leads on. I feel like every time I see a betta sorority video, like a couple months later, you see the, oh my God, this happened, you know? But there's also people that pull it off. Danny Does Life has a betta sorority that I'm amazed is still going. I'm like, that's only going to last for like a couple months. I was so negative about it. I know, me negative about something, but it's still going strong. I can't explain it. Do you need to do weekly water changes while cycling a new planted aquarium and feeding the nitrogen cycle with a pinch of flakes every day? So there's definitely a few things to consider when you're doing a nitrogen cycle with plants. One, the plants are going to eat the ammonia. So some people will tell you that makes the cycle take longer. Like if you have so many plants that you never get past the ammonia stage, then you're never going to get to nitrites, and then you're never going to get to nitrate. I will say I would be way less worried about cycling a tank if there was plants in there, and if it was a heavy plant load, I wouldn't even wait to add fish, because like I said, the plants will gobble up that ammonia. They love ammonia. So just something to think about. Obviously, definitely get yourself a test kit, whether it's the strips or the liquid. That's the best thing you could do for yourself. I've talked to people that have spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars killing fish, and they say $30 is too much for a test kit, when they could have bought 10 of them for the amount of fish they killed. So yeah, just keep that in mind. $30 is pretty cheap after you've killed a tank full of fish a few times. Aqua Discovery says, myth, Bob doesn't like koi. Bob secretly loves koi fish, but is jealous he doesn't have any. That's certainly not a myth. Certainly not a myth. It's not that I dislike koi. I will say that when it comes to fish that are mistreated a lot, that makes me like that fish even less. I don't know why, but I see Oscars in small tanks. Common plecos, koi in like 10-gallon tanks. The more and more I see that, the more and more I dislike that fish. Like I said, I don't know why, but that's just how my brain works. I recently saw a comment where someone said they got a 10-gallon tank, and it was a kid, but their parents were doing the stocking, and they were saying that their parents put in 4 Oscars, a common pleco, and there was something else, and everything kept killing each other. And then they put in like Jack Dempsey's. And I was like, whoa, dude, you're doing all this in a 10-gallon tank? Like, all these fish I don't like. I don't know. Just the super abused fish I like. I don't like as much. And I don't know. Is that bad? I don't know. Mitch says, I'm really wanting to build a pond, and I want some koi. See, if I had a pond, the last thing I'd want is koi. Like, I don't know. I'd want, like, I'd fill that sucker with so many native fish that I could, like, scuba dive around and see all kinds of different life in there. I think it would be awesome. Join as a member. Yes, like I said, getting pretty close. We need a few more. Just a few. That's it. 10-gallon koi grow out. It's fine. Yeah. The fish is literally folded in half in the tank, but it's still growing out. It's only 2 feet now. That it's still got a foot to go before I have to move it out of this 10-gallon tank. If I had a pond, I'd put trout in it. I don't know that I would do trout. At least in my area, it's really hard to keep the water cold enough in the summer for trout, and that's usually a downfall that a lot of people have. Is once you get into July and August and the ponds really start heating up, trout don't like warm water. What about koi in a big pond? They just don't do it for me. The very first Aquashella, I think, not Aquashella, but Aquatic Experience had like a big koi pond. You see the big koi ponds in like companies, and I don't know. I don't know what it is about koi. They've just never done it for me. I'm thinking about doing rainbows, giant danios, Colombian tetras, corridors, peacock gudgeons, my Bolivian ram I currently have, and an Amazon puffer, maybe a group, and maybe an angelfish in a 75. John, that sounds like a lot of stuff, but a lot of cool stuff. Well, one can see the koi in the pond if one does not care to go into the water. I suppose that's true. But I'm telling you, you can see gold white clowns a long ways away. A long ways away. The pond by my house has a nice school of shopping carts. Oh, man. Hillbilly Aquatics. Welcome to the Dream Team. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Be on the lookout for the members-only streams. They usually happen on Thursdays and Saturdays. Currently bi-weekly, but will soon be weekly. Soon be weekly. Cichlids in large ponds is becoming more and more appealing to me. I'm in the fairly warm climate, though. Yeah, if I was like in Florida or somewhere where it's warm like that year-round, I mean, I would definitely have a rainbow fish pond, but a giant cichlid pond would be awesome. But I definitely wouldn't stock it with all the PetSmart run-of-the-mill cichlids. That's, not a fan. Not a fan. Do I need to medicate the 55-gallon tank I removed a sick ick fish from, or wait to see if anything else starts to get it? Honestly, if it's at the point where you're already seeing it, you should probably medicate the entire tank. I mean, it kind of depends on how much you want to spend on medication. You can certainly remove it, isolate it, and treat it, and then watch your other tank, see if it comes up. But chances are it's in there, and you need to treat the entire tank. So I would always treat the entire tank in that scenario. What about a pond of ranchus? I would say like goldfish and koi would just not be my like first go-to. Like not even towards the top if it comes to stocking ponds. What size tank should I have for a Raphael catfish? Honestly, if it was me, I would go big at like 125. But there's lots of people keeping them in smaller tanks. I'm the kind of person that likes to have to look for my fish. So if it's in like a 40-gallon tank, I know where it's going to be all the time. But if it's in like a 6-foot tank and I have the room and the money for a 6-foot tank, absolutely. MD3631, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Just raise a temp if you research and see if all your fish can handle it. Yeah, make sure all your fish can handle it. But get it up to 85. Case 2. Get it up to 85 degrees. And let it sit at 85 degrees for a day or two. Aqua Discovery says, Steenfott Aquatics, I'm thinking about doing an LA River Biotope. Any stocking ideas? I have some decorations, McDonald's and burger wrappers, rusty blades. Well, as brought up before, do not forget the shopping cart. That is a key component, the shopping cart. I hadn't really considered using native species like a bunch of bluegill. Yeah, my dad has a lot of bluegill in his pond. We've tried trout a couple times, but again, and this is like a really big pond too. Well, I'm not gonna say really big, but probably like it's about 40 feet by 40 feet, and in the deepest spot, it goes over my head, and it's still got too warm for him in the summertime. Let's be real, guys. The pond would be the swimming pool for the Steen doggos. Yeah, if it's big enough for koi, I'm probably going to be swimming in it. Case 2 says, I've had my Raphael cat for 9 years. Raphael. How about a pond with a ton of deep red swordtails? But swordtails are jerks. That's my problem with swordtails. They're just jerks. I don't know about the red ones, But the green swordtails were some of the jerkiest jerk fish I've ever owned in my life, and I got rid of them real fast. I want a pumpkin seed tank. What about fish in cycling? What about fish in cycling with live plants also? Zach, if I was a beginner, I would not do that. But hey, thanks. How you doing, buddy? That's not something I would recommend for a beginner. But if you've been around the block for a while and you have your test kit, I would not be opposed to doing a fish in plant cycling. Now, there's definitely fish that are more sensitive than others. Like if you're doing like a white cloud tank, then yeah, I would just throw them in. But fish like pseudomagills or maybe something that's a little more sensitive, I wouldn't do it. I don't think there's room for you up here, buddy. Hi. I don't know where you're going. I have bluegill in the retention pond behind my house. I need to net some. They're pretty cool fish. I'm not gonna lie. The bluegills, the darters, the shiners. There's lots of cool stuff, native wise, that I would do way before koi or goldfish. That's not a cameo. That's straight up dog. That I did not expect that. That's not something he does very often. And look, your white is throwing off my green screen. What are you staring at? Are you staring at me on the monitor? He is like... he is zeroed in on something. Jeez, buddy. Hey, why don't you try to lay down? Come on. Try to lay down. There you go. Can anyone help? I have an endler that has a tail missing and white fungus looking stuff a quarter way up the body. Timothy, you're going to need to get that out of there ASAP. It's not, well, sometimes it's serious. Sometimes the tail just got nipped off by something else in the tank. It's certainly not a death sentence if you can get it out of there and put it in a quarantine tank. Possibly salt it if it seems like it's fungus. You might want to do some type of medication on it. But if it's just like an injury and there's no like fungus or anything, just put it in a quarantine tank. And make sure that water is crystal clean. That's one of the most important things you could do for your fish, is just crystal clean water. Staring into souls. Yeah, that was pretty intense, buddy. Got myself a free co-host. I know, his hair is getting long, too, for a short-haired dog. I've never seen his hair this long, and it's only around his neck. His scruff. Your scruff. Your scruff. Best substrate for tetras and good plant growth. So really, there's no like best substrate for tetras. Tetras, well, actually, you know what? I'll take that back. Dark substrate is the best for all fish, including tetras. It just really makes colors shine out, and I hate the term pop, but it really makes them pop more. So it's dark substrate. As far as plants, it really depends on what kind of plants. But my favorite is, I don't know what you're doing, buddy. I don't know what you're doing. Is Eco Complete. And, yeah, it just depends on how much you want to spend, because you can go crazy on substrate. But I feel like Eco Complete is a pretty nice middle of the road type of substrate as far as price. Is 4 Bulldog Plecos too many for a 105-gallon Molly grow-out tank? If Bulldog Pleco, you're referring to rubber lip Plecos. No, rubber lip Plecos are really small. That's the only Pleco I know of that's referred to as the Bulldog Pleco. Could see himself in the monitor. He probably wanted to stare at that gorgeous puppy too. My tank got cycled and want to change out a filter cartridge with filter floss and coarse sponge, but not want to hurt my bacteria. Think it would be okay. It depends. So if you have like one of the canister filters, the bigger ones that have 2 filter cartridges, I would just swap out one at a time. Maybe swap out one, wait a couple weeks, swap out the other one. It also depends on your bioload, because there's going to be beneficial bacteria like in the substrate on decorations in your aquarium. So yeah, I wouldn't do it all at once. I would maybe do it in steps. Stu says, another myth, the foam in the hang-on back filters ask for you on the box to replace them every 2 months. Myth, definitely. Trying to get you to buy more crap, definitely. That's definitely. Why am I'm saying definitely a lot, but companies like to get you to buy more crap as much as they can. This is why their crap never lasts long anymore. This is why their crap always needs to be replaced. But yeah, definitely a farce for sure. I don't think I've ever kept a sponge long enough for it to like disintegrate. And I've kept sponges for years and years and years and years and years. Never had an issue. Hi, I just joined, but doesn't dark substrate with discus encourage peppering, or is that just dark backgrounds? That's more for the walls, the sides, up where they're actually laying their eggs, things like that. Steenfott Aquatics, hey Bob. Again, not a discus expert though, but that's my opinion, I guess. Steenfott Aquatics, hey Bob. Whenever I try to grow stem plants, they always end up getting soft at the base and float away. Any tips? Thanks, bud. Oh, well, that they're melting for some reason. Whether you're getting plants that just won't work in your water, if you're getting bad plants, a lot of plants just won't do well depending on where you get them from. A lot of plants are sold immersed, so they're grown out of water, and as soon as you put them in your water, they're going to melt back. Stem plants are famously sold that way, and they'll look completely different than when you buy them. Like, it's night and day difference. If you've bought from like multiple different people, the next step would be to try and get them local. So I say the same thing with shrimp, but plants are the same way. If you can get them local, you're really gonna like. I'm so distracted by my dog. You're distracting me. I just want to pet you and love you. Yes, I do. You say boop. Anyways, I don't even remember where I was at now, but they're melting for some reason. So I'm sure you know, but the most common reason for melt back is they're grown out of water. You buy them and then you throw them in your water and they melt. There's plants like Anubias doesn't melt, but like Java fern, crypts, they'll melt almost all the way back and come back. Stem plants won't do that. So you really want to make sure you're buying your stem plants when they're grown submersed. So I would maybe try from a different vendor or see if you can get them locally. If that made any sense. I don't know. I have a question. I own a goiter river rainbow trio, and one female has a cloudy eye. She acts normal, but not sure if I should try medicating. I've unfortunately killed a few fish trying to cure. I wouldn't be too worried about it with rainbow fish, unless it's been that way for a really long time. Rainbow fish are pretty jumpy and flighty, and they like to run into stuff. And a lot of times that's how they injure like their mouth. Sometimes you'll see like white, it looks like fungus, but it's just an injury on their mouth. They hit their eyes. They're just not very smart fish. So if it's something new, I would just, again, make sure you keep your water clean. It's the most important thing you can do. And especially for cloudy eyes. Just set up a 55 with a black diamond blasting sand for my electric blue Acaras. Yeah, and that black diamond sand is going to make them look really, really good. Is it typical for about 20% of angelfish fry to have no color? I have no idea, Ham Aquatics. I've never bred angelfish. Maybe someone in chat can chime in on that one. I got this planted substrate from my brother, and holy Jesus, is the hair algae getting out of control. I've cut the light down to minimal, and it's still going rampant. Well, then I would say that cutting the light down was not what you needed to do. It usually makes things worse. So you're getting algae because you have an imbalance. With new substrate, it's usually ammonia is spiking like crazy in a lot of like planted soils and just planted substrate in general. So you have to do your water changes, and when you cut back your lighting, you're actually making things worse, and now you have even more of an imbalance. So I would, if you have like an ammonia test kit, check your ammonia. That's normally the culprit with those planted tank substrates. Timothy Darling with the $5 super chat says, thank you. You're welcome, buddy. Thank you. Hey, I've got some new coolie loaches today. What's your opinion on those fish? Static, I think coolie loaches are awesome. One day, I would love to have a gigantic tank with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coolie loaches. Great. I've now acquired another dog on my lap. See? See? This is why I don't like one of you on my lap, because now all you need to be on my lap. You're not left out, buddy. Regina says, Kenny, the hair algae explosion can happen in new tanks. Yep, exactly. Normally it's like diatom algae, but like I said, with the planted tank substrate, I would almost bet the farm that you have tons of ammonia in that tank. Especially like fluval stratum. That stuff leaches ammonia for a long time. I hate that stuff. Ugh. Coolie Loach Pond. There you go. Snail Team 6 coming in again. Coolie Loach Pond. I don't know that you'd ever see them, but that would be really awesome. I have a 33-gallon long that I think would be a really awesome Coolie Loach tank. Is it possible to mix sand and a little pea pebbles for the substrate? Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'm doing fertilizer, but I find it so frustrating to plant in the huge rocks and the plants and sand just can't get... Wait, let me read that again. There's too many of you. Got too many dogs. Is it possible to mix sand and little pea pebbles for substrate? Of course, I'm doing fertilizer, but I find it so frustrating to plant in the huge rocks and the plants and sand just can't get anywhere. Yeah, you can... you can do anything. You could do like 75% sand, 25% rock, 25% rock, 75% sand. There's no, can I do this and not this or this or that? You can mix anything. It's awesome. Kelly says, I've not found fluval stratum to leach any ammonia. I wonder if they changed the recipe. It's pretty common. I don't know. I hear and see people complaining about it all the time. Maybe you just have enough plants that it's eating all that ammonia. That could be it. Bob's lap needs a mastiff. That dude's way too big. Way too big. He's not a lap dog. He's a leaner. He likes to lean on you. Black coolie loaches are really busy in my experience. The striped ones in my tank are more shy. Don't mix sand and pea pebbles. It's a nightmare. I don't know why. I've done it multiple times. I've never had an issue. I want to put hundreds of cories in a giant tank, like how they live in the wild in big schools. I've had 200 Corridors habrosus, and they're so fun to watch. Are fluval the apple of the aquatics industry? No, not in my opinion. Definitely not. I'm fairly new, and a lot of their products are quite expensive. Are they well? Absolutely yes. They are definitely. I guess I spoke too soon. They are definitely the Apple. They're not run nearly as well as Apple, but they definitely consider them to be like Apple, that's for sure. I have a tank with aqua soil, though the initial ammonia spike is now getting a bunch of... through the initial ammonia spike, and now getting a bunch of algae, reduced the light intensity, and added more fast-growing stem plants. I don't know. I feel like reducing the light cycle, unless you're going from like 12 hours to 8 hours, then yeah, that's too much. But if you're going from like 8 hours to like 6 or 4, I feel like that's not how you want to approach that. If you want, think of your lighting like how do you want your lighting on for 8 hours a day? Then keep it on for 8 hours a day and try to adjust everything else. When you start playing the light game, going back and forth, as soon as you, let's say you went from 8 hours and you cut back to 4 hours to try to reduce algae, everything balances out and you're not getting any algae and you're like, great. And then you bump it back up to 8 hours, boom, you're gonna have an algae explosion again. So if it was me and I wanted my lights on for 8 hours, I would keep my light on for 8 hours and try to balance everything else except for the light. Too many nutrients and not enough nutrients, all of this stuff causes algae. So it's not really just dependent on light. Fluval Bee Trippin'. Hi, and thanks for the super chat. Oh, James with the $2 super chat says, for your help and pups and Corey. James, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. $2 super chat. Although, oh, man. You guys, it's too much. Too much, dogs. I only ask for 2 hours a week. That's it. That's all I ask for. Fluval's got nothing on ADA for cost. They are a budget product in comparison. Yeah. I feel like ADA is in like a league of their own. Like not product quality wise, anything, but definitely price wise. You don't need a ton of stratum. Just put it in the planted sections. That's true too. Still not a fan. Still not a fan. I've got an entire 125 gallon tank with all stratum, and for the price difference, I still prefer Eco Complete. It's just way cheaper, and I think it's better. Danikin Aquatics with a $5 super chat for the new chair with room for the dog. Boy, that would be a gigantic chair. All right, go get him. Go get it. 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 Go, go, go. Go, go. Go get it. Go get it. I don't know what you're getting, but go get it. Whew. It's getting too hot with that many dogs on my lap. 2 dogs and a hoodie, I would be roasting. I know, that's what I just said. It's getting hot. It's getting hot. It was only 1.5 dogs, though. Regina Phalanges with the $5 super chat says, are ditherfish necessary for multis? No, not at all. If so, what species for the high pH? No. You definitely don't need dithers for multis. If you wanted dithers, though, I would highly recommend Cyprichromis, also from Lake Tanganyika. Probably one of the most amazing fish that nobody keeps, Cyprichromis. Bob, you need a live stream couch? Oh, you're killing me, buddy. This is very, like, out of the ordinary. He never jumps up until I tell him to. Of course, he thinks I'm not going to yell at him because we have company over. Virtual company. Uh-huh. I would never yell at you anyways. No, I wouldn't. No. What else do we got? Rockin' love seat on moving dolly so the pups can chill with you. Man, I've thought about the love seat thing before, and it would be nice to have like a love seat with like a table in front of it. So you could do like show and tell or something, just have stuff on the table. I don't know. A full-size couch would be nice. I feel like a love seat or a couch or anything like that is going to be so far back from the camera. I mean, you saw everyone complaining last week about how small I was because I was I'm so much closer. Last week I was way in the back of the room. I have some blue neon. I picked up 8 of them 2 weeks ago. Aqua balls. Are you talking about Cyprichromis? Because they are amazing. He wants to be internet famous. Oh, man. Xanadudu says, I miss my Great Dane. Talk about amazing dogs. Great Danes. My mom used to have a couple of them. And I was actually looking for Great Danes a couple years ago. But now I have this hodgepodge of dogs. I used to think ditherfish were just indecisive, dumb fish just dithering around. I used to think ditherfish was a specific fish, like a dither tetra or something. Way back in the day, the first time I heard ditherfish, I was like, ooh, I'm going to Google, see what kind of fish that is. Hey, Rod, $2 super chat says, best shrimp amount in 7-gallon planted betta with Corys. Honestly, you can't go wrong with cherry shrimp. I don't know what kind of Corys you have. You're kind of tapped out on space, I would think, already. But shrimp don't create that much waste, and you can't go wrong with cherry shrimp. Super hardy, easy to breed, fun to watch. Parasiprochromis leptosoma blue neon. I paid $30 each, which is exactly why we don't see them in the hobby. They're expensive and they are terrible, terrible shippers. Terrible shippers. Oh my God, I'm grinning at his cuteness. Cool Bob, cool Bob, cool dog Bob. I love him. I can now say all 3 of my dogs I've gotten, it should be obvious, I've gotten all 3 of these dogs from the shelter I volunteer at. When I was there last week, there was a puppy Doberman Pinscher, and I was like, oh boy, here comes number 4. Like, if I didn't have to move in a month or 2, I'd be sitting here with 4 dogs right now. I cannot resist a Doberman, but I had to, for the good of the dog. It's going to find an amazing home. Dobermans never last more than like 5 hours at the shelter. Once they hit the website, they're gone. I love big dogs, but now I have a dog that is 3 kilograms. I don't dislike small dogs. I'm just afraid that I would break them. And like when I'm walking small dogs at the animal shelter, like I really have to pay attention to make sure I don't step on them. Like if there's a dog on my bed and I'm sleeping, like if it's a small dog, what if I like roll over and just smother it? That's not going to happen with these dogs. I don't got to worry about it. My girlfriend's sister is getting a golden retriever puppy in a month. It's a pretty good breed. Pretty good. Pretty good. I love big dogs. I just got, hi everyone. I'm super busy just lurking. We'll be doing 2 mini paludariums for my vampire crabs. I got 6 today. Vampire, Pseudomagil ditheri. Vampire crabs are pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. I'm kind of jealous. I almost got them last year, but ended up not getting them. But yep, I love water wisteria, but holy crap, they really take over. That's one of the fun things about water wisteria. You have to throw a lot of it out, but it does grow amazingly fast. Small dogs, I immediately think, yep. It's true. Now we need pics of you walking a Chihuahua. It looks hilarious. I can't even lie about it. Like when I'm walking just these little dogs, it just looks ridiculous because, you know, I'm not like super tall or anything, but you know, I am like 6 feet tall, little taller. It's just, ugh, I hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, I love all dogs, but it happened. Steenfott Aquatics, I have 5 pygmy cories and 2 neorites in that 6.6 gallon betta tank. I am so glad you said pygmy. I was thinking like salt and pepper or cories or cories or stir-by, pan, anything of the larger ones. I was like, pygmy, awesome. The nice thing is you already know that your betta is probably not going to go after the shrimp if it's not going after the pygmy cories. Unholy Orders, are you here? Hello if you are. Someone's saying hello, so I'm going to assume you're here. Hello. It's late for me, so I'm going. Good night. Well, thanks, Paul. I appreciate you stopping by. Always good to see you, my friend. How many Chihuahuas in a 120? Yeah, I just saw a post on Facebook about you know, someone comparing pit bulls to Chihuahuas, and pit bulls get such a bad rap. I feel so bad for him. Like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. How could you not like this guy? This guy's way better than a Chihuahua. Yes, you are. Oh, you look so pink in the camera. You look so pink. I gotta say, in In over a year that I've been at the animal shelter, I've never even had a pit bull attempt to bite me. And we get a ton of them. We get so many of them in. Chihuahuas try to bite me all the time. He is the toughest dog I know. He may be big, small, but trust me, he has the fox terrier in him. So yeah, he does not really bark, which is weird. Wife wants to know what breed your dog is. We have one that looks exactly like yours, but she's a rescue, full pit or terrier mix. He's definitely a mix. You can see he's got a little longer snout, don't ya? So yeah, his ears are like a mile long too. But yeah, he's a mix, and I've never done DNA on him, so I'm not sure exactly what the mix is, but he's just so handsome, aren't ya? He reminds me of that dog on Little Rascals. The war is on against Corey. What? My dog. Oh, because he's his small dogs. And wouldn't you know it, they bite. Big shocker. Them little ankle biters. They do bite. Not that dog scares me. What? So true. Yeah, small rats. Okay. Okay. In my many years of shelter work, the problem with pits was more dog versus other animal. A lot of them are super gamey. Oh. All right. Enough. You guys have distracted me enough. Look, you got my mic all the way down here. And you got it undone. Oh, boy. Eric Wyrock says, hit the like button. Absolutely. If you haven't hit the like button, do it right now, please. I'd appreciate it. What is wrong with this thing? Stay up here. No? Ooh. Oh, maybe if I tighten this a little. I find pitties to be awesome with people, but not much with other dogs that aren't in their pack. See, this dog loves every dog. This dog, now he is a mix, but he loves anything and everything. Yes, he does. I find pitties awesome. Yep, especially like when we have a pitty boxer myth that looks a lot like him. I don't know if there's any boxer in him though. Although he can jump like 10 feet high, so maybe there is some boxers. Boxers are really good jumpers. Anyways, Wincy bites Bob. Corey laughs. Yeah, I remember like the first couple times I went over there, they had to like hold their dogs back. See, I have to hold my dogs back because they'll lick someone to death. I love my Maltese Chihuahua mix. She's the sweetest little dog in the earth. Bamboo shrimp, Snail Team 6. I agree. I don't even know what you're talking about, but bamboo shrimp are awesome. So whatever you got to say, they're awesome. I agree. I read utility meters for the local utility company for years. It was always the Cocker Spaniel that would get a nip off my pant leg, not the pit or the big dog. So this just happened to me last week. I had my dogs outside, 2 of them, and the meter is back there as well. And like I start hearing the low key growl, so I instantly know that something's going on back there. And then I hear the nice doggy, nice doggy, nice doggy. It was the meter reader. Oh man, cracks me up every time. I love it. What else we got going on? I have a Maltese Chihuahua mix 2. He's the best. Thoughts on 29 gallon with 8 albino Corys, 12 neon tetras, 8 harlequin rasboras, and a betta. Yoop. I would feel that you're pretty maxed out there. I don't know that I would do much more, but I think you're probably doing all right. Cocker Spaniel was the only dog that has ever launched at my face. My grandma had one. It wasn't aggressive at all, but, you know. Thoughts on a 29-gallon community tank? Oh, I just read that one. Thanks for repeating your question. I appreciate it. I don't always see them, so if you're asking a question, be sure to repeat it if I don't see it. You won't get in trouble for it. It's encouraged. Took out my most affected plants in a separate container. All it did was turn white a few days, and I decided to just stop. Looks like I missed something there. What do you have to do to breed panda garas? So one, they are seasonal spawners. They only spawn for like 2 months out of the year. And you have to have a high water flow and lots of oxygen. So think like, try to stimulate like there was just a big rain. There's lots of water. It's flowing. It's oxygenated. And then lots and lots and lots of food. And even then, they're really hard to breed. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to breed pandagaras, it's not something that a lot of people have done. So, Mary Beth Stevens, I agree with you. Maltese are the sweetest dogs I've met. Any problems with keeping corridors on Eco Complete? Nope, I've done it many times. People will say not to do it and that it's terrible for them, and they'll swear up and down. But I've done it. I've had them breed in Eco Complete. I've never had really an issue at all. I was a municipal paramedic. Little dogs love to chew on us. I was doing CPR and a gentleman once, and his German Shepherd walked up eye to eye, took a sniff, and then wandered off to take a nap. Now, I will say, at the shelter, German Shepherds probably behind Chihuahuas for how many times they've tried to bite. They haven't done well. They haven't done well in my book as far as biting. Some of them definitely love to bite. But again, that, you know, a lot of that has to do with their environment, how they were raised, and obviously they're way overstressed being in the kennel. How about the myth that Java fern is easy for everyone to grow? I have never experienced crypt melt, but my Java fern leaves won't stop turning spotted and die off. I have a bunch of it, but yeah. So you're not alone there with Java fern. For me to grow Java fern, I have to do like crushed coral. I have to do just insane amounts of fertilization to keep the mineral content high. My water is super soft, and generally Java fern, like I don't have any issues with Java fern if I'm doing like a Lake Tanganyika biotope, but it just does not like my Seattle water at all. Kyle's Aquarimetrics, I like that. How did you acquire all of your aquarium knowledge? Always been a hobbyist, or have you worked in the industry? I've never worked in the industry. However, I have lots of experience with industry people. And, you know, I've been doing this for a really, really long time, and it's hard to substitute real life experience with anything else. So the longer you do it, the better you're going to get, especially when it comes to diagnosing issues with your fish or with your tank, especially when it comes to planet tanks. Yeah, eventually you'll get to a point where you see something and you just exactly know what to do. You'll get there. The Java fern I have really hard waters. That's another great thing about this hobby. Oh man, I will say, like, it's definitely been one of those plants where it either thrives or it dies. Zen Ginger says Windelob is the easiest Java fern in my opinion. I would 100% agree, but I don't like it at all. I just don't like the look of that plant. I've done it. And like I said, I do agree. It is probably the easiest of them all. My favorite Java fern is needle leaf Java fern. I love that stuff. What is a good place to order fish besides Aquahuna? I would probably say Dan's Fish is probably going to be your best bet. Aquahuna is getting a lot better. But yeah, or Dan's Fish. Steenfott Aquatics, starting a planted 20-gallon with white cloud, celestial pearl danios, 74-degree tank, best shrimp and amount. Again, cherry shrimp. Cherry shrimp is always going to be my answer. When someone says, best shrimp for this, best shrimp for that, best shrimp, hands down, is cherry shrimp. My High Plecos, yo. What's up, Trevor? Good to see you, my friend. I hate watching my son's German Shepherd when he has to go out of town. His deep bark terrifies me. Ooh, you'd hate the barks of my Doberman. I think I'm just going to have to embrace the crypt tank. There's nothing wrong with crypts. My favorite tanks are crypt tanks because they're such low maintenance. Oh man, I always go back and forth on like the stem plants, and then I remember like you have to trim them like multiple times a week. It's just ridiculous. Java Moss 2, what is the origin of this Java? Java Moss is a hard one because if you're not getting it from a hobbyist, then you're getting it grown like out of water, and it can be really hard to convert. Some of the farms have like giant Java fern ponds, but some of them grow them out of water as well. Malawi shrimp are the easiest shrimp in my honest opinion. Funny you should say that because I have failed miserably both times I tried that shrimp. It's awful. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. It's embarrassing. But, oh man. Both times was just a bloodbath. Like they just died within like a week, I swear. Red Wendetii is the best. You know, I have this conspiracy that all Wendetii is the same. Green, brown, red. It just changes colors based on water parameters. That's just my kooky conspiracy though, because you know, I've bought all 3 of them and they all look the same all the time. Oh, who was that? Oh, you know, if that was you, go away. Oh my gosh, you stink. Woof. New Betta's new tank is a dirted crypt. Benjamin says, it's sad I can't get freshwater shrimp in New Zealand. You know, I've always been curious about that. It's just very... I'm in the same boat when it comes to the Mexican dwarf crayfish. I want that thing so bad. I knew that wasn't going to last long. I'm expecting Madagascar rainbows and Venezuelan cories from Dan's Fish this week. I am so happy you're getting Madagascar rainbow fish. Like, totally underutilized in the hobby. More people should have those. Talk about an awesome little torpedo fish. They look really well with roseline barbs. You know, similar color, similar body shape. Really cool to see a school of Madagascar rainbows and roselines. Getting new plecos tomorrow. L600. L600 has not been issued yet. Well, that's something that you should probably send me pictures of. How about that? Bob, I have green and red in the same tank and they're different. It's just a joke. But I swear, every time I've bought them, I always buy like 6 reds, 6 greens, 6 browns. I just buy them in groups like that. And they always look identical. Always. There's nothing better when a dog farts and scares themselves. I like it when I fart and they jump. That makes me laugh so hard. But, you know, I'm only 15 years old, so of course it does. How do you breed tiger barbs? I have a barb tank, around 20 tiger barbs for almost a year, no eggs. Well, you could actually be getting eggs. They're just eating them. So their eggs scatter. So you have to come up with a contraption that's going to save your eggs. It could be something as simple as a Tupperware container with a screen over it so the eggs can fall through and the parents can't get to them. So chances are they are dropping eggs, but like I said, they're just getting eaten. Secret History living in your aquarium with a $5 super chat says, cheers, I just got Taiwanese micro dragon gobies. The coolest fish I've seen in years. Have you seen or kept them yet, Bob? I have not. They had them at the Aquarium Co-op one time I was down there and got some video of it and never figured out where that video went. I think Taiwanese micro. Oh, no. It wasn't those. It was dragon, some type of dragon loach. I think it was. Never mind. It wasn't the gobies. I have not seen those then. I have not. Taiwanese micro. Let me see if I can Google it real quick. I mean, with that name, it better be a really cool. Oh, My right click's not working. I can't copy paste. All right, I'll have to look later. But I'm going to say, with that name, they better look cool. Zach with a $5 super chat says, so I messed up and jumped into this hobby head first, as we all do. You're not alone. But so far, it looks like my cycle is almost complete and the mollies are reproducing. Any tips? One, make sure you have somewhere to unload your molly fry because you're going to have a lot of them. If you keep letting them breed in there, you're going to have a ton of them. Let's see. Well, I don't know that I know enough about your aquarium to give you any tips. If you're, I don't know. But I guess that would be my one advice, seeing that's the only piece of information I know. Make sure you have somewhere to get rid of them. You know, if you ever start getting into live bears, that's one of the problems is people produce a ton of them and then have nothing to do with them. Sean, what's going on, buddy? I have a question for everyone. Red melon sword or red flame sword? I'm a fan of the melon sword, just because they don't get like super tall. But that's just personal preference. They change color on a dime and burrow in the sand like tremors, monster worms. You mean graboids? Graboids? Watching them eat scuds is like a National Geographic video. So what you're saying is you're going to have a video of them coming out soon. My Plecos says burgers on the grill. Oh, and thank you both for the super chat. Zach, I wish I had some better advice for you, but I just don't know enough about your setup there to give you any more advice. But thank you both for the $5 super chats. I appreciate it. Burgers on the grill, Bob. Come on over. Ah, man, I wish I could. I'm jonesing for a getaway of any kind. Beware, don't feed your dog broccoli. Like I have any of that rabbit food in my house. Come on. Setting up an 85-gallon glass tank after 9 years dry. Easiest way to check seal. Put it in your driveway, fill it up with water, and let it sit there. That's what I do. You would know the name of them, Bob? Wait, what? Never had the flame sword, but the melon seems to be hearty. Yeah, the red melon sword is one of my favorite sword plants. Curtis, I have no idea what you're talking about. But, get predator fish in a bigger tank. It's just that easy. Just that easy. Just get a bigger tank, get some predator fish, and that's how you take care of all your molly fry. Duh, it's that easy. 40 gallon, about 20 mollies, 2 loaches, 2 clown loaches, and a pleco, and some snails with live plants. Also, well, I'm glad you have live plants. Clown loaches luckily grow really slow, but eventually they're going to outgrow that, so just keep that in mind. 20 mollies, yeah, you're going to have a lot more than that soon. But yeah, I like it. I like it. The only thing I would be wary of, like I said, is the clown loaches. They get big. They get really big. But, like I said, it takes them years to grow out, so you got some time. Just me who thinks Soylent Green smells amazing. Joe Williams with the $2 super chat. I think it smells amazing, but not amazing in a good way. Like, stuff that smells bad just makes me laugh. So, again, I'm 15. Cut me some slack. Things like Safe and Prime, when I smell it, I'm just like, oh, and then laugh about how bad it smells and then smell it again. That's me. Neocardinia shrimp need a specific TDS. Is this a myth? Yeah, I mean, anything to do with TDS is a myth in my book. Anything. TDS is such nonsense to me that if someone starts talking TDS, I immediately tune them out, and I won't take any advice they ever say, ever. Bob used to drink the Soylent Green. I used to make my own Soylent Green, but luckily I don't eat fast food anymore. I guess it's not luck, I just don't. Okay, I'm going to send a can of Surströmming to Bob now. I don't even know, I'm probably saying that wrong. Surströmming. Not nasty, just like the smell. Buckets for the fish with USB air pumps and lower the water. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Need help moving. Well, there you go. Read the comment right above you, keeping it fishy. I think the key to moving is not letting it stress you out. A lot of people get really stressed out over moving fish, and even if you're moving like 8 hours away, remember these fish spend days in bags when they're getting shipped. So just don't overstress it. Be careful. Give them an air stone, which is really not even that necessary, but still. Is there any trick to making a small tank look bigger than it is, or am I just putting too much plants in it? The trick is to get a macro lens and only look at it through the macro lens. Hey dude, is that a blue-eyed tank behind you? They are pseudomagills and I believe CPDs. Pseudomagills and CPDs. What do you like to feed your cherry shrimp? Are they easy to feed? They're super easy to feed. I love giving them green beans, any algae wafer, fish food. It doesn't really matter. They're super easy to please. A lot of times if you do flake, they'll actually like swim up and grab it right out of the water column. It's pretty fun to watch. Keep in mind they are definitely more herbivore, so you don't want to be feeding them a ton of like, protein type flakes. But yeah, just get yourself some herbivore food, and they're not picky at all. Super easy. I have needed too many band-aids lately, says Aqua Discovery with the $2 super chat. Thank you. He's referencing his knife making. He started building his own knives. So, yeah. Maybe you should work on your technique. Have to use too many band-aids. That's funny. Zen Ginger linking to join as a member. Yep, there is the link. We got 2 tonight, though, so I can't complain. I just feed mine fish food, to be honest. Yep. So mine get green beans because I always keep mine with like bushy nose plecos. So they're always going to get green beans. K-Stu with the $5 super chat says, thanks for the great Monday stream. Hit the like, fish gang. Thank you, K-Stu. I appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the like button. We are at 200. Oh, we passed 200 likes. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. The shrimp lollies that Flip Aquatics feeds look cool. I've never used them, but I feel like, I don't know, can't go wrong with green beans. Yeah, what are they, like 69 cents for? Well, they might have gone up, but you can buy like a case of them for like 69 cents a can that'll last you a lifetime. Mine's in the freezer right now. Thanks, K-Stu. Wait, one dirty platy says, Steenfott Aquatics, Bob, that video you did on the Panagara, did you happen to breed those? If so, how did you manage? If not, then I guess you answered the question already. So we did talk about this earlier. They are seasonal spawners, and they are in season right now. And you have to kind of mimic like a torrential downpour. So my water's been extremely stagnant. Like, well, I'm not gonna say stagnant because that sounds negative, but I've only done, there's only like a sponge filter, no flow, no nothing. Massive water change, lots and lots of flow, lots of oxygenation, and lots of food. And you can sometimes trigger them to spawn. They're, like I said earlier, not the easiest fish to spawn in the world by a long shot. It's been done quite a bit, but not, I mean, it's definitely not like a bushy nose pleco, so it's not going to get that kind of clout, if you will. Not the right word at all, but. BJ Palmer says, I moved 8 years ago. I really need to go back and get our stuff. What? Dining room table, couches, a bed or two, all my empty fish tanks and gear, bought everything else new. Moving wasn't a problem. Well, I just moved 8 years ago. I should probably go get my stuff. I don't know. That's so funny. Bob, what is better, cherry shrimp or pond snails? I will always choose cherry shrimp. they're just a super fun animal to keep. My sister's goldfish tank supposedly was leaking, but was really just because she put a towel over the top and the towel sucked all the water into the carpet in the middle of the night. Yeah, there's a word for that, but I can't remember what it is. I'm sure someone knows what it is. If you lay a towel over your tank and then like it like drops into the tank and then the water leaches over the side and drips down, there's a specific word for that, but I don't remember. It feels like companies make canned green beans for fish tanks. There is no one on earth that's eating them. I used to as a kid, not by choice. Wick, yes, wick. Wicking, it's wicking. Wicking, that's it. Wicking. Patrick, I see a few at my LFS once in a while. 360 Aquatics on Britmore in Northwest. Wicking, capillary apparently is the same thing. I've always heard it called wicking, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going with wicking. Be nice to sell that property to Bob. Hey, I'm looking. I found an area in Washington that you can get, I think, 20 acres. Matter of fact, I still have it up on my screen right now because I was looking at this earlier. Where'd it go? Anyways, it's like 20 acres for like 40 grand, but it's way up by the Canadian border. It's the only reason it's so cheap. But land is cheap up there. Granted, I'd be under snow for 6 months of the year, but I love snow. Yeah, 40,000 or 39,999 for 20 acres. No house or anything, but you know, I don't need a house. I just need land, somewhere to pitch my tent. That's all I need. And internet, I suppose. Thanks for doxing me out loud, Bob. I don't even know what doxing means. Is that Steen? It's the Steenfott sipple? Joel? Oh man, you crack me up. Bob, where is that? Medaline Falls or something by the Canadian? Let me go back here. It's starts with a T. Tana's, I don't know, Tonasket? I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's 98855 is the zip code. Tonasket, Washington, maybe? I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's weird, though. It looks like it's about 45 minutes away from the Canadian border. But if you go closer to the border, land gets way more expensive. For some reason. I don't know. But Tonasket, Washington. Really cheap land. For Washington, mind you. For Washington. What's the drive to the co-op from that place? I mean, honestly, I already consider myself too far away from the co-op, and it's only like an hour-long drive. With traffic. About 40 minutes with no traffic, but this is Seattle. There's never no traffic. That's where my wife's family is from. Well, it's cheap. It's cheap. 2-bedroom, 1-bath house for $109,000. Man, all I need is internet. That's it. As long as the place has internet, I don't care anything else. Inland. Oh, Pam, you tell me how to pronounce it, and then you retracted it. At Tonasket, hippies live there. Well, honestly, like here's 40 acres for $99,000. If I have 40 acres, I'm not gonna have to worry with hippies. Unless they're hippieing on my property, then we're going to have problems. But I feel like I should be like, if I'm like right in the middle of that 40 acres, then it's going to be hard for people to annoy me. Oh, yeah? Bob, if you get trapped in the snow, though, your dogs will create a big Dutch oven with their farts. I mean, I think I fart them out, to be honest, but it's never cold with 3 big dogs. I'll tell you that much. It's pronounced Tanaskit. Well, why do they put an O in there? Freaking English. It's stupid. Bob, if you get... Oh, I already read that one. Beautiful land. Lots of gorgeous wildlife. Yep. See, That's the advantage of being on the internet, is that job market doesn't apply to me at all, but I still need internet. Pronounced Tonoskit? Tonoskis. Well, see, now I got two people telling me it's pronounced differently. It's a 3-dog night. Man, it's been a long time since I've heard some 3-dog night. Dogs would love 40 acres. I would love 40 acres. I mean, let's be real. Yeah, I don't care. I was just being silly because Bob likes to read crap I don't intend on him saying out loud. Oh, I don't proofread these comments before I read them. I'm like Ron Burgundy. You put it on the teleprompter, I'm going to read it. That's just the way it works. All right. It's too much. Too much. You're so needy. You're so needy. Anyways. Why are we talking about dog gas? I'm eating and watching a good show here. I don't know. We're in the last half of the show, though, and that's where things get a little dicey sometimes. Jeremiah was indeed a bullfrog. Capillary action is the mechanism behind wickening. So there you go. There you go. We now have the technical term of the entire process. Shambhala? I was literally typing the Ron Burgundy, but then you said it. Yep. It's just how it works. I mean, you guys drive the show. I just reread. That's all I do. All I do is sit here and read what you guys say. That's it. More myths. What else do we got? We've covered everything on my list. Best band ever. Best band ever is Matchbox 20. Duh. I don't know why I said Matchbox 20. Just what came to mind at first. First thing that came to mind. How about that as a myth? The best band ever is Matchbox 20. Anyways, I have no idea why that came to my mind. All right, we need more myths. Let's end this with some more myths. The man, the myth, and the legend, Elvis Presley, folks. Man, we've already gotten everything that I had on my list. I don't know. I saw 3-Dog Night live in Seattle in 1971. Wickening became a buzzword for marketing clothes and computer wrist props. It was a scientician word originally. LOL, not Matchbox 20. Oh, man. Definitely not Led Zeppelin. I mean, we don't even need to go there. But I will say that for a band to even be considered the best, they have to not steal other content. Like, they have to have original content. Like, every Led Zeppelin hit was stolen from a different band. Literally every single song. Matchbox 20 was a joke. It was a joke, people. Come on. Have you ever been to Spain? That song rocks. I have never been to Europe. Oh, yeah, go get him. Haha, I'm dog free. Thank you, Amazon. Whew. Holy smokes, I just got about 20 degrees cooler. Is it easier just not transfer the substrate when upgrading multis to a larger tank? I don't know that it's easier. There's definitely some benefits as far as, it's normally cleaner. But you're not going to have like all the beneficial bacteria that's in the substrate. And so it's kind of, there's pros and cons to both. It's easier to use new substrate. Have you ever been? Nope. It's easier. Okay. Soundgarden would disagree. Stores still sell goldfish bowls. Why? Well, I feel like we could do a whole segment on things that Petco and PetSmart do. And there's other chain stores. I feel bad always singling them out, but they're the only two I got in my area. Almost all the crap they sell in their store is just crap. Your dogs are eating the person at the door. Good. That's what they're supposed to do. No, Bob, it's a Three Dog Night song. Oh, okay. I apparently did not understand the reference. It's insane that fish live stream is so entertaining. Well, I'm son of a quack. I am glad that it's at least entertaining. So, no matter what we're talking about, I'm glad to hear that it's at least entertaining for some people. Tried bloodworms too. Oh, wait. Had them over 3 weeks. Everyone's still alive and looks good. Might be having trouble feeding 3 stone catfish, banjo catfish, and baby salt and pleco. Tried blanched zucchini, brine shrimp, omnivore pellets, carnivore pellets. Any ideas? Tried bloodworms too and live blackworms. I would say, how long have you had them? 2 banjo catfish are very shy at first until they get used to their environment. Plecos can be the same way. I've never kept stone catfish, but I would imagine they're pretty close to behaviors like banjo catfish. When I first got my banjo catfish, I never saw them, ever. And then roughly like a month and a half, 2 months later, once they got settled in, as soon as I put any type of food in the water, they went crazy. They would come right out. The other thing is to consider is, do you have any dither fish? Fish like that generally hide for most of their life love dither fish, so they know it's safe. They can come out, and part of the they won't eat if they're stressed, and that's why it usually takes them some time to calm down and start eating. So, and then chances are they're probably eating at night when you're sleeping. So all of those fish are, what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, one, they're nocturnal. So they're probably just eating at nighttime. But give them some time. If you don't have any dither fish, give them some dither fish. And I guarantee you in a couple months, they'll be out all the time. And my banjo catfish, like I could go look in that tank right now and I wouldn't be able to find one. I could stand there for an hour and I wouldn't find one. But as soon as I drop some food in there, flake, frozen, it doesn't matter. Then they all come out like almost instantly. So just give it some time. Myth, you will not develop MTS after starting the fish keeping hobby. Yeah, people definitely go nuts pretty quick with this hobby. I had the biggest crush on George, Michael, and Ricky Martin for that matter. Man, was I misled. Yes, you were. You definitely were. Steenfott Aquatics, what is the biggest fish mystery that you have encountered in any of our your aquarium across your entire career of fish keeping? Probably, definitely water changes, the amount, how often you have to do it. It's so subjective. There's so many factors. You have to do it every week. You have to do it every other week, once a month. Like, there's just way too many factors, and there's no like set number for every single, especially if you have like 30 tanks. Some tanks won't need to be water changed ever, whereas other tanks might need to be water changed. They might need weekly. So it was definitely the whole water change. 2 weeks, every 2 weeks you have to do it. You have to do it. My girlfriend works in the fish department in a local grocery store. Is fresh, I'm assuming, fish scraps okay as a snack for my aquariums? Absolutely. Yep. I buy frozen shrimp, frozen fish, tilapia, any type of frozen food like that is good. Biggest mystery. That is definitely the biggest mystery. Why do panacories die so often? For me, definitely. We started with a 10-gallon. 1 year later, we have a 10, 20, and 55 MTS. That's a pretty light case of MTS, though, to be honest. 1 year, 3 tanks. You're doing pretty good. I would say you're doing better than average. That's good. That's good. Sabrina was the best? What? I'm not ashamed to say that I bought a single just because of the cover, though. Like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or Sabrina the singer Sabrina? Myth, discus are hard to take care of. No, they just need consistency even more than normal fish, but they are not difficult at all. I think part of the problem, maybe if we go back like 10, 15 years, is that all of these myths were just getting repeated. Any fish store you went to, it was just the norm. Discus are hard to take care of. Water changes, cycling, beneficial bacteria. That's a myth we didn't talk about. And I think this is definitely one of the positives. I think that, like I said earlier, the fish fam has done is bringing a lot of these myths to the forefront and disproving them. When you start filling mason jars, your MTS is off the rails. Yeah, I sold plants to a girl who was less than 3 months into the hobby and had 4 30-gallon tanks, and I thought I had it bad. Apple snails rock. Yeah. Man, it's pretty crazy what this hobby can do to people. I mean, I was there. I got my 10-gallon tank and I was like, yeah, this is cool. The next thing I know, I got a whole room of fish tanks. It's really weird. And like, what was my progression? When I got back into the hobby, it was a 10-gallon tank, then 240s, then a 125. Then I started looking online and joining Facebook groups and going to fish meetings, and man, it escalated fast. Is 13 tanks in 1 year bad? Started with 2 March 2020. I would say that's probably closer to average for people with MTS. It's hard because there's so many fish, there's so many shrimp, there's so many plants, there's so many biotopes, so many things you could do. It's really just hard not to. Mike, I ended up with 22 in a year and a half, so it seems normal to me. Yep. Aquaseekin says ponds. Yeah, throw ponds in there. Now I want all kinds of outdoor tubs and outdoor ponds. Will it ever stop? I would love a fish room, but the wife says no, but 7 tanks ain't too bad. I would say that's doing pretty good. If you're getting shut down on a fish room, I feel like 7 tanks is pretty good. Oh yeah, and for people that don't know, I guess we should say MTS is multiple tank syndrome. In case Stu, thanks for clarifying. Some people might not know that. I just wanted a few to eat mosquitoes in my lotus pond. 50 tanks and counting. Holy smokes. 7 tanks in 2 years, 1 salt, 1 high-tech planted. Chevy Fish says, hi all lurkers and anyone I missed. Y'all making me feel good about myself. I'm only up to 6 tanks over roughly 20 years. Wow. You definitely do not have MTS. But you have a good control of your hobby, which is good. I don't have any control. When I get into hobbies, when I get into stuff, I have no control. It's like I look at videos online for weeks. I buy stuff. I get out of control. And then once it simmers down a little bit, then I got to focus on paying off credit cards. Looks like a comfy chair, Bob. Yeah, I don't like leather, but other than that, it's pretty good. Myth. MTS is curable. If my wife didn't enjoy accompanying me to the LFS, I wouldn't be at 44 tanks so far. We're opening up another room. Her idea. There you go. 44 tanks and you're getting a whole nother room. Man, that's the dream right there. Feel bad when I see pet stores employees selling fish without any questions and recommendations. This person was buying so many fish because this kid wanted many fish. Poor fish. Yeah, honestly, I don't even go to the fish sections or departments, if you will. When I go to like Petco or PetSmart, I don't go to those stores very often anymore. But if they have like dog toys or stuff on sale, then I'll go buy them. And I hate seeing the person that's buying fish and says, I'll take one of those, 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 one of those. And it's just like, oh, you can't buy animals that way. They shouldn't sell animals that way. Dolbeck Aqua Design says, I'm at 3 tanks plus a quarantine, but I'm always looking on Marketplace and been lurking on saltwater channels these past days. Ooh, I've been jonesing for a saltwater tank for a long time. I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity to do one anytime soon, but I've definitely been thinking about it for a while. Bob, be careful. That's a baby making chair. P.S. Just joking. What? What in the world? I had 2 for 6 months, then quarantine hit, and now I have 12 fresh and 1 brackish with an F8. And I'm so happy with an F8. $1 per gallon sale is sweet, though. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's a thing of the past. Hey, buddy. What? You've been scratching? Comb your hair, buddy. If you're going to come on camera, at least comb your hair. Get out. Get out. Super chats. Come on, people. Super chat. Says Case 2, not me. A goldfish. That's it. Just goldfish. The endler's in the tank first. Betta already there. Tried putting in... wait a minute. Oh, okay. You're answering someone else's question. That makes more sense. So in other words, it's your wife that has MTS. Yeah, wife okayed a whole nother room for fish tanks. And then it's... Yeah, I guess so. It would be the wife that has MTS. Started with 4 tanks, have 50, and adding 40 plus more. Fish and shrimp by Rich. 100 tanks is a lot of tanks. That's crazy. Too bad I need a new 40 breeder. Yeah, I mean, they're only $50 now instead of $40. So it's just a $10 increase, which, I don't know. Everything's going up in price right now, so what are you going to do? Did I say LFS? I meant LFS. I have 5 to 6 favorite locals, plus having a great salesperson in our local Petco. Yeah, I used to have a really good PetSmart here, but the people that made it really good have moved on. Then I had a really good Petco, and then those people moved on. So, yeah, that's honestly one of the main reasons I haven't been back, or I don't go back very often. Next stream needs a t-shirt or recliner fan. Oh, it's not that hot. It's not that hot. It's definitely warm, but... I fought off MTS slightly by buying bigger tanks to replace my old ones. It leads to using the old ones in future, though. Yeah, replacing tanks never works. That definitely... When you got tanks just sitting around empty, then you start thinking about, what can I use these tanks for? What's my top 3 favorite tank sizes? 40, 75, and 125. Absolutely top 3. 5 tanks in a year now, and I have to get a bigger place to live so I can get more tanks. I feel like if you're in a fish live stream on YouTube on a Monday evening, you probably have MTS. Why else would you be in a fish live stream where half the time we don't even talk about fish? I mean, let's be real. It's definitely my MTS, but my wife is a nurse, and I think she's been putting something in my food. What? Better check that life insurance. Oh, man. What's my topic? You're going to start a myth about dollar per gallon sales never happening again? I think they're gone. Usually when stores get rid of stuff like that, they don't bring them back. So I think dollar per gallon is gone. I think it's going to be 50% off going forward. While at LFS, I was showing my hubby a 125. I am full in my sitting room. While looking at short squatty tank, he said he would be okay with one of those in his man cave, getting my foot in his space. Well, I feel like... I don't know. I feel like large tanks are something that guys are always going to like, whether they have a fish tank or not. I mean, I've got friends that don't have fish tanks, and they always go straight to the large tank, always. My 240 gallon has been in my garage for a long time now, so anytime I have the garage door open and someone comes over, they're like, wow. I mean, these people don't even have fish tanks. So the large tanks definitely get the attention. They definitely do. I'm planning on a 40. How many neons? I mean, you could do like 30 if you wanted to go crazy. I have to go to sleep. Have a great night. Kim, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I think they were doing the dollar per gallon sale too often, like every 3 months. Yeah, they were doing it quarterly. But I still say they're going to be doing the 50% off sale just as often. That's my myth, my conspiracy, whatever. 50% off from now on. Every 3 months, still quarterly. That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's Danny. Whoops. What? Oh, I think you stay on topic way more than Kenny and I. Well, to be fair, Danikin, every time I come into your stream, all you're doing is laughing. And it's, oh man, if you're ever having a bad time, just go into Danikin Aquatics live stream and you'll start laughing in no time. You won't even know why you're laughing or why you're smiling. But I don't think I've ever been to one of their live streams where she isn't just hysterically laughing like crazy nonstop the entire time. And it's very infectious. Highly recommend it if you want a good time. But they stream on Sundays if you're curious. You have to plant the seed first, Bob. That is true. Planting the seed. I have 0 fish tanks inside now, but I have a 100-gallon tub outside and add a 20-gallon tub outside in spring and summer. Keep them understocked and 0 upkeep. Not even feeding. Great for lazy people. That's one of the reasons I love outdoor tubs. Well, 50% off would still put a 20 at $20, so that's good. Yeah. Yep. The 20-gallon one is one that will remain unchanged. Got a 5-gallon. Anybody got any ideas for it? Can't be shrimp or gobies. Can't get them here. Betta fish, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess. Kathleen says, great stream, good night. Thank you, Kathleen, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Aquaseekin says, absolutely 100. Danikin Aquatics, great times. Yeah, I feel like I always miss the joke. Like, I never know what she's laughing about. Never. But whenever I go on the stream, she's just laughing hysterically, and I'm like, what'd I miss? Every time. And I'll sit there for like an hour, and she just doesn't stop laughing. It's amazing. I never figure out what the original joke was. It's freaking great. I love it. Did I mention the 125 pond in the backyard with 4 waterfalls? 125-foot pond. No, you didn't, but that sounds absolutely amazing. Ah, man. I'm going to change my Tinder profile to specify that the girl has to have MTS, then wait for questions about what it is. You probably won't get any matches because they'll probably think it's like herpes or something. I don't know. It's usually glitter related. What? Anyways, moving on from that comment. She's also been on my case about making a field trip to the custom aquariums. Oh, she has been on your case about making a trip to custom aquariums in Wisconsin. Our largest is 125. The big tanks are only a van and trailer trip away. We're planning for a family room remod. Oh, man. That would be a very cool place to go and check out. Have Ted Judy give you the tour. That'd be pretty fun. It's always something embarrassing Kenny has done. Man. So I never come in at the start of the stream. I'm telling you, every time I go in there, just laughing uncontrollably. Has to be a metalhead and want 100 aquariums in the house. Curtis says, I'm having an MTS flare-up. Yeah. Also, check if MTS can stand for other things. Malaysian trumpet snail? Is that what you mean? I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. Glitter is one of the running jokes on Danikin. Well, all right, folks. We have come to the end of this 2 hours. It has been another successful live stream. How are you, buddy? I'm doing great if you're talking to me. How are you doing? Good night, Kathleen. Yep. Time to say goodnight for everyone. To everyone, say goodnight. Oh, say goodnight. You're so pink. Look how pink you look. Look how pink you look. Oh, see, look right here. Look how pink. What's wrong with you? Get out of here, you freaking goofball. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. All right, thanks, Bob. Had a great time. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Oh, wait. Hey, you come here now. You come here now. Oh, you've been causing problems behind the scenes. Huh? Now you can come up and show the back of your head and your pointy ears. There you go. Turn around and say hi. Turn around and say hi. Oh. All right. All right. Take the good boy to go potty. Oh, they don't need to go. They don't. No, you don't. Trust me, they'd let me know. We'd be hearing about it. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming and hanging out and contributing, whether you're just lurking, liking, commenting, super chatters, 2 new members. That's super awesome. And thanks to the mods and the subscribers, everyone. This was a fun 2 hours. Went by pretty fast. Love that dog. Good night. Yes. Oh, Dobermans. Oh, they're so violent. Oh, Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to go play with my dogs. Yeah. I'll see you all next